Deuce. Indian series. Wow. It has not let us down yet. An amazing series so far. 2 test matches. That first test match would have been awesome. I did my last video in Hindi, so I'll do this one in English. I'm just going to get straight into it. That Indian bowling lineup. Mama. Mwah. What a lineup. We can start off number 1. The man himself, Jasprit Bumrah. In my opinion, the Indian bowling lineup right now is the best bowling lineup in the world. Yes, there are awesome bowlers all around the world, but that lineup is unbelievable. People that they can leave out. Let me just start straight from the top. Jasprit Bumrah, one of the best bowlers in the world right now. Awkward action, great bouncer, great skills, slow ball in test match cricket too. He is a genius and jet and bowling like one right now. The number 2 man, Ishan Sharma. Now, people don't talk about Ishan Sharma. He's pretty much there all the time. He's a skillful bowler. He's got his little innie, but he also bowls a really good length. He's been there for such a long time. That experience is infallible in these conditions. Third, I think, is the most underrated bowler in the world, in my opinion, Mohammad Shami. Every time you talk to a batsman, they all talk about how good of a bowler he is. When you look at him on TV, you don't really think much. He's a bit unsuspecting, but he's got lots of skills. He's actually a lot quicker than you think he is. I think that's one of his skill sets. And he always has that seam in a beautiful position, and no one really talks about him. I genuinely think he is such a big part of that bowling lineup, and people forget about him because he's a bit unsuspecting. But what he brings to the team, what he does, the way he bowls, I think he's as good as anyone else in the world. Last of the fast bowlers, Siraj, and he was copping a bit of stick throughout the summer. You can tell he's getting wickets, he's walking by. He is a very skillful bowler too. Faced him in the A series maybe 3 years ago in India. He got 8 wickets against us. Yeah, I might have got 100 that game too, 120, 30 odd, but who's counting? Indian conditions. Apparently I couldn't play in Indian conditions growing up. He bowled an unbelievable spell, and when I saw him there, I knew he was going to be a very good test bowler. Test match cricket just takes time, and I think Siraj is still going to have a few ups and downs, as we saw with someone like Jasprit Bumrah. Came in hot, had a tough time, and now it's coming hot again. It's just the way that cricket goes. He's awesome to watch. I think he's got beautiful skills, the way he has that wobble seam, can nip it away, his natural is away, but he's got all the skills that he needs to be a good bowler. Lastly, a team that can leave Ravi Ashwin out, that's a good team. They got another man, the Jaddu. And honestly, he is world-class player. Beautiful bowler. The way the ball comes out of his hand, he gets lots of revs on him. Obviously he can bat. But to my first point, if you can leave Ashwin out of the team, how good is your attack? And for me right now, that Indian bowling attack is the best in the world. No one can really compete with them at the moment when they're firing, and the reason why they're winning so many test matches. What I said in my last video too, in Hindi for the English users, you might not have heard it, but I'm still worried about the English batting lineup. Inexperience, test match cricket is a tough place to find form. The guys that are playing there are all really good batsmen, don't get me wrong. It's a very hard place to find yourself, and whether or not they can come back from this, I'm going to say no. But Joe Root performing, that's the number one thing. If Joe Root wasn't performing, I would say 100% no, game over. Joe Root's performing. He just needs 1, maybe 2 people to come with him. Definitely 1. And if someone else can chip in here and there, then they might have a chance. Those England wickets are quite tough at the moment, especially with the overcast conditions and everything that was going on. I do think they're going to still struggle, though. I think India's got an amazing opportunity to win this Test series now after winning this game. Big chance. I think that both teams have been pretty on par in terms of their batting. I think the difference has been the bowling, and not having Broad there for England definitely hurt him a little bit. But that Indian bowling lineup, last day, 60 overs to go. Reminded me a lot of what happened to us in the Ashes. Luckily, we only had about 35 overs to go. We were about to lose that game too, but we only had to face 35 odd overs. These guys had to face 60 overs. Day 5, overcast conditions in England. Lords, be a bit up and down last day. It was just too much. And to be honest, I think it would have been too much for us too if we had to bat 60 overs. So what a test match. What a finish. Looking forward to the third one. Pakistan test match, that was also a thriller. We've been spoiled a bit this week. Against the Windies, went down to the wire once again. Kemar Roach getting him over the line. That test match is so... I think the 2 teams in those test matches are so even. When I'm comparing the 2 bowling lineups, I'm not really seeing too much of a difference in terms of the quality, especially on those wickets. That wicket was a tough wicket. I could tell straight away from day one that was a tough wicket, hence why there wasn't many runs scored. 50 or 60 on that wicket felt like it was almost 100. So tough batting surface for the first one. That's where the difference is going to be in the 2 teams. Pakistan's batting needs to stand up, needs to score runs. Easier said than done on tough wickets, but it might only be a case of, if the wickets are the same, it might only be a case of turning a 50 into an 80, which can be a winning total in those games. The next wicket's a bit better, yeah, might need to be a bit more. I honestly think Pakistan have the batting. West Indies have a decent batting lineup too. I do believe Pakistan has a slightly better batting lineup in Test match cricket right now. And there's no reason why they shouldn't win the second series. It was disappointing for Pakistan to get so close but not win. But I think the batting is going to be the key. Where someone like, obviously, Bubba can score runs. Rizwan looks like he's in form. He needs to help him out with some runs down the bottom order. Guys at the top. I've played against Abid Ali. I think he's a very good player. I expect him to get runs. He seems like he's a test match cricketer to me. Pakistan's bowling, Yasir Shah, obviously one of the best spinners in the world. Then you got Shaheen, Fahim, and then you got Deuce, my man Hassan Ali. I think he's the leader of that side in terms of the way he approaches it, his experience, how he lines up. I think if he's bowling well, Pakistan cricket team have a big chance of winning the test match.